more precisely, we are in Avondale at our hotel, which is the Peninsula Hotel. It's a small motel, and we're on the second floor. And looking out, we look over a race course, actually. Helen, you would enjoy that. And we're overlooking a small pond in the background. There's a locust tree, and what else? A citrus, palm tree, and more palms around the pool. Cabanas with umbrellas. And we're sitting having some coffee and tea before we go out to see.
And this is Thursday, March 12th, 1998. Yes. We skipped Wednesday, coming from Los Angeles.
Yes. March 11 just never existed before. We had a wonderful flight, and actually there was 3 hours difference. So when we got on at 8 o'clock, it was 5 o'clock in Auckland. So it didn't seem like it was any big change at all. And we slept through the night. Owed and awed over a baby who was so good, and we had a lovely flight down.
Met a lot of nice people who were on the tour.
And I'm going to sit down and have my coffee.
Yeah.
We're all packed and hills of it. And we're at the very high end of the mountain.
The tall building there is a casino, 382 meters in the center of town.
And as you look around, you see water everywhere.
Yes, there's 2 harbors. This harbor is
I'll forget if I don't ride it.
bridge over here.
I'm going on the 20
Turn
mile
around
walk.
here, and there's another harbor over here. This is looking across from Mount Eden to the center of town, toward the peninsula up above Auckland. And right in front of us, down here, is the volcano's crater with amaryllis growing on the side of the hillside here. What else? Auckland, northwest of Auckland, up on a high hill on a ridge. And this is a Maori totem. I think they call them totems, but that's what it looks like to me. This is the Arataki Forest Reserve, which is directly west of Auckland, up in the top of the hills of the forest. And we're looking down here on a lake, like an artificial lake, and then off to the harbor, the second harbor, off in this direction. I guess it's further west, or a little southwest. Once you come up close and look down here, Alan, tree fern.
I want more volume. How do you get more volume? For building much of the Auckland, and what's been also used for the main coast in the Maori.
Yes, I think that's in the,
And also for the lovely canoes.
yes.
It is now protected trees cut down
It has a
on the high hill.
fruit up here that you can perhaps see if I creep up.
The darkness of the mind, the darkness of the spirit, comes light. And from light comes the shining glory of knowledge, of awareness, of understanding, the removal of uncertainty, the removal of hopelessness and fear. So out of darkness comes hope. Now you've come to a city that's living in darkness. Take it back to America, don't leave it over here.
Here's the 13th of March. This is the boat that brought us over from the mainland.
We started here about 18 years ago, but our project that we've taken the island has been going for about 5 years. Now, the island is a scientific reserve, and we ask you to keep that in mind as you go around the island today. There's a few rules attached to the island which we ask you to observe. The first one is
on the bird walk at Tiri Tiri Matangi, and we're looking off towards Aukland on the island. We're looking southwest, I guess. The volcano on the left is an island right close to Aukland.
Between the flax and the palm, you can see the casino tower. And I want Art to go down and stand by.
There's the lighthouse on TV.
Norfolk Island Times, it showed the way.
The birds we just saw were Tui, T-U-I, with a white little button on its throat. This lighthouse has apparently been here for many years. It's once the brightest in the southern hemisphere. Now automated. This is the taka, one of the rarest birds in New Zealand. Only about 100 of these left. They're almost extinct now. They're being brought back from extinction.
What you're looking at is a very pale
red
one.
knot.
It's got no traces of breeding with it. It may well be a young bird which will stay here when you're on the breed. This may well be a nursery bird.
Miranda. Huge group of Waitone rising in the foreground, looking like starlight. We're at Kuiti. This is the sort of Maori temple in which we were greeted in the official ceremony of the Maori leading another tribe of Maoris. And it was very impressive and very warm and friendly. Beautiful carved wood all over this.
Botanical and forming tenant. And this is the flat one that is lying from. I think if you notice up on the hill there, not the flat what you
Yeah. What'd she say? What did she say?
That we would normally use for the wind. And all this has to be like around about 100.
Oh my goodness.
This is the time before the children come out. They come in the first place together. I've got my idea from the pātakas around the country, you see, around Rotorua and Wendy, and that's how my idea came. Well, this wood I've painted on for a reason. Others usually do Totora, Kauri. But because it's the only particular wood that I could grab at the moment, use the fallen trees, and I grabbed this. This actually was another piece of here. put it in my car. Cut it in half, and this is the picture that came out at the moment.
Te Kuiti. This is our group lining up to have a hangi, which is sort of like a luau. And the ladies, it's a buffet style. Here are the ladies, the Maori ladies who prepared it. The lady there is you recognize as the weaver. Like team. Carol Davis over there from Palo Alto. An incredible place to sleep. Morai here. And here's Helen over here.
We have deceased. All the families come and keep one, 600 people come through the gate. It's not only this tonight, but they do that all over. It's family oriented, our people, the Maori. They forgot to mention the 7 canoes. Did they mention that? There were 7 canoes.
This is the front of the Morai. Te Kuiti. Here's this handsome fellow standing with Helen. We just went through on this boat. You saw the glowworms on the ceiling. They're actually insects, larvae stage. Helen coming out of the glowworm cave. And if you look behind, you see a group of California redwoods going up high.
Oh, there they go.
Male has been chasing the female around. Now they've opened the burrow for him in the back.
Animals.
Animals.
More closely related than
The Totora is the closest thing to a dinosaur. 200 million years old. It sure doesn't move very much.
He's old.
So white-faced heron. We're still at the kiwi aviary. This is a kia, a native bird to New Zealand.
Oh my, this is pretty. Well,
This is a kia. This is a very aggressive parrot.
I don't know whether we missed something.
It's another bird at the Spurling? Spur-winged plover. Oh, what a beautiful bird. Huh.
Oh, another one up there in the coastline, yeah.
This is a coquelicot. Another endemic New Zealand bird. Quite unusual.
Fence post. And you could pull it out of the ground after 40 years and it was still without any treatment. Yes.
This is the Puerora forest of podocarp. This is the big Totora. It's quite a tall tree, almost the size of a redwood.
Podocarp forest like this, you might get 15%, 20% of the trees, the big trees.
This is Monday, March 16th. We're in the Puerora Forest Preserve. This is full of ferns and podocarps. This is a We'll catch the sunshine, most of it's in the dark. This is the robin, it's the New Zealand robin. And this is an orchid. It's on an epiphyte that's been blown down from the trees up above. We're at the top of a tower here in a Puerora
Okay,
forest.
I'm ready to go down. You're getting it all, Arthur?
Looking down on the top of the tree ferns here. Going into the super loo. If I swing around, you can see the lake way off in the distance, and there's a pretty little park here, right next to the super loo. And the Burger King across the way. Yeah, nicely planted with roses. Park. This is the Waimangu Thermal Reserve near Rotorua. This is near Mount Tiri, which blew up in 1886 and covered the world with ash. This is the lake we're walking down to at Waimangu. It's obviously pretty hot. I'm getting closer to the lake. Look at the swirling steam above the lake.
I don't know, that's what Don's doing.
Hang on to your leads, I'll tell you about your leads.
We're going to learn about a leaf.
Everyone's got to have a lead.
Oh,
Think
leaf.
about it.
All right, learn about
Think
leaf.
about your lead.
We're learning about leaf.
Within Echo Crater, we have frying pan spring. This is the low temperature of 50 degrees Celsius or about 130 Fahrenheit. Okay, that's on the surface. The deeper you go in, the hotter the water becomes. Now in 1917, there was an eruption that blew out this end of the crater. It was a hydrothermal eruption. A hydrothermal eruption is caused by either earthquakes, opening cracks and allowing the steam to blast out, or it's caused initially, now the crater was created by magma entering the geothermal field.
This is the hot creek flowing out of the lake here. 56 degrees Celsius, about 180 degrees Fahrenheit. Now,
This is the Japanese scene, the two small rocks, and then the larger rock, and then the tree bending over it, and we think it is definitely beautiful Japanese scene.
water is actually boiling. It's at 100 degrees Celsius. This is the location of a geyser that used to be the world's largest geyser. Go up 500 feet in the air every 36 hours. This is the Inferno crater.
Yes,
The deep
turquoise blue.
turquoise blue.
Oh,
Like oil.
Actually, it's not steam, it's gases that are dissolved and coming out of the water.
Okay. This is Inferno crater. Somebody asked me if we were going to see a geyser play. Well, hopefully if we get down to 26 we'll see a small geyser. But if you want to see a big geyser, you'll have to sit here for about another 3 weeks. This is a geyser. Okay? A geyser works by rising up, erupting, and going back down again on a cycle. Okay?
This is the hottest geyser in the reserve. This one bubbles up and flows over every 3 minutes. The terraces with the green and orange algae just below the iodine pool we were just looking at with the geyser. This is Tuesday, March 17th. This is the Prince. What is it? Prince's something. Where we stayed in Rotorua. This is a Boer War monument to a brave soldier from New Zealand, Wiley. And we're in the gardens of Rotorua. Off in the distance there you see the beautiful Cleome. And as I swing around here, yeah, I guess. Where are you? There you are. This big old Victorian building, at least pre-World War II. Beautiful park. We're waiting to go to the airport at Rotorua. On to...
Come and look at the orange and gold flowers over here.
These are zinnias.
Turns right to when you're finished.
Zinnias with a thermal vent out in back of it here in Rotorua.
The familiar little birds are to the right.
What are they?
Quail.
Oh, some California quail.
Only New Zealand quail. There's
They're
the
New
male
Oh,
on the
for
croquet
goodness sake.
screen.
Oh,
See, looking at us.
yeah. Yeah.
And here are some smaller ones here. Mother and adolescent.
This is a croquet field with spectators' benches around it. This is an art and history museum in this beautiful park. Beautiful park in Rotorua. And this is a monument in memory of the Maori tribe, the Arawa tribe, whose sons were killed in the Great War, First World War.
This was dedicated a month after I was born.
1927, yeah.
I never did. I want to because we have such a positive experience with Jim that we're going to transfer our positive. No, but that's, I'm deciding I don't like it. I decided. Oh dear.
Okay, here's Jim and Bob.
Why do you suppose he kept rescuing various articles of clothing and...
We're now at Antarctic Station at Christchurch Airport. The jumping off point for many Antarctic expeditions.
We are at Antarctica. It looks like it. Just look out the... Oh, I am at Antarctica. Scott Bay. I'm on my
This is the entrance to the Antarctic Center here in Christchurch. The kids are acting like penguins. This is the U.S. Navy Antarctic hangar. Planes that fly on to Antarctica from Christchurch. This is the outside of the Antarctic Center. It's got a marvelous exhibit. We're out at the tip of the Otago Peninsula in Dunedin. We're going into the Royal Albatross Center. We're heading Otago Bay.
Okay, now that chick is about just over 2 months old.
Oh.
It was born on the 15th of January.
2 months.
Oh boy, you're getting something good there.
It's about 2 months old. It's going to be sitting there until September time. Middle of September is the time Middle of September will be the time when it's the first week in September. When it was born, it weighed, oh, there's a flying bird just going out there. Just dip down to our left. We'll just see if it does come back around the bottom here. It looks like, and the weather conditions are right. Then they'll be in every day, they'll be in a quarter. One of the parents will come in every day in a quarter to feed the chick. As the chick gets older, as I said, by the time it gets up to being about 5 months old and it's so heavy it's not going to be able to fly, then the parents start cutting it down and they'll only be feeding it every 2 days.
Here's a model of the Albatross.
So both parents feed in turn and sit on the edge. And they'll sit there for 3 to 5 days at a time while their partner's where she's feeding. Partner will come back, they'll swap over, and the other one will sit there for 3 to 5 days.
Undergone a major redevelopment. It just, in fact, it's not even finished at the moment. So the signage is not terribly wonderful. But the Otago Museum had its first beginnings, if you like, in 1865. You may be interested in...
It's Wednesday morning, and it'll be about the 17th, and we're in Dunedin. And this is an autumn crocus in the nearby Botanic Garden. The Otago Museum, which is visited on Wednesday morning. Very many interesting exhibits from all over the Pacific. Wednesday, March 18th. This is McRae's Flat Coal Mine. It's a huge enterprise. North of Dunedin, northwest of Dunedin. This is the Dunedin Botanical Garden. And this is a statue to Wendy and Peter Pan, which we thought was very special. Love the smiles on the faces. Still in the Dunedin Botanical Garden. It's a beautiful rose garden, a huge rose garden. The railroad station in Dunedin.
The statue there is not blinded. You see, Justice is not blinded.
This is the first.
Okay, I'm sorry, we're going to just pause for a minute for another photograph.
We're on a sheep farm near Te Anau, Thursday, March 19th. We're about to see one get sheared.
Then it was split, there's 3, well, there's one big property and then it was split into 3. The 3 sons took it over, but now there's only, well, the one who was killed a few years ago, there's one here, and now the other son's been sold, and the other one's been leased, so there's not really a lease on the mailbox now.
These are three of the 6 sheepdogs on the property here. Here's the sheepdog doing his thing. This is the backdrop of the sheep farm near Te Anau. We just saw the shearing. Deep mountains up behind. Can you tell me what this is, Helen?
I can't tell you what it is, but I can tell you where we are in a country garden
Belongs
in
to
New Zealand.
belongs to
It's owned by a lady who's elderly, and this is her garden, all of this. That's what she's having. There are peonies over
huge garden owned by Marie Gallant. The home is not a beautiful lawn in the mountains off to the left. This is the lady who owns the sheep station where we just were. She's a widow who's in the local college.
We were just looking
The daylilies
at
are tiger
the
lilies.
lady has out her kitchen window.
Te Anau, and this is a deer farm where we're going to have a barbecue. Normally we're going to have some venison. And this is our barbecue in the shearing shed.
Folks, if we could just have your attention for a moment, just to tell you how the, Jocelyn would like to introduce us some of the local folk that she's invited down to join us to talk with us, share with the meal.
Here's our barbecuing the venison and the lamb chop.
Not quite,
This is how they capture the deer, by shooting a net over them and then the rope tied to it. These are deer that are penned in on the deer farm. Here's Te Anau.
The reason,
Manapouri, Lake Manapouri. Boarding a boat to go to the other end of Lake Manapouri and then out to Doubtful Sound. And this is the boat we're going to start on. Windy and cloudy and spitting rain. Promises to get windier. on the road between the Lake Manapouri and Doubtful Sound. There's a wonderful display of moss, red and all colors. Again, on the road from Lake Manapouri to Deep Cove, spectacular waterfall on the side of the fjord here. Now we're on Doubtful Sound. This is the first huge waterfall. Waterfall on Doubtful Sound. The boat down below to give you the scale of it. On the top deck of the ship there. Whoa! I think we've seen about 200 or 300 waterfalls coming right into the fjord here.
Standing ocean stiff, shallow entrance, outside the rock and roll being followed by the ice. Dropped on the bottom into the ice now.
This is the inside of the ship that we were on, we are on, in Doubtful Sound. You see some of the members of our group here. A few other people.
Seal is fully protected and can sleep in peace once again.
These are seals on an island out at the tip of Doubtful Sound.
There would be probably 1,000 of these seals out at the mouth of the fjord. And so these days the species is doing well.
Here we are in the machine room, the generating room of the power plant at the end of the lake. Saturday morning. March 21st.
Yeah.
It really shows up, doesn't it?
Yeah. Rainbow over Lake Te Anau.
Yeah, that's a beautiful machine art.
Sure is. This is a mountain parrot, or a chia.
It's that when they're flying, that rust color, that teal blue, that slate blue, are really pretty when the sun's out. There was some the day we in Auckland when we drove.
The Antipodes parakeet. Find it again. Moving around. On a sub-Antarctic island in Antipodes. Strange to find a parakeet on a sub-Antarctic island. Big wind out
You have
there.
a converter to
Spray
charge
on
your
the,
battery?
lake.
Yeah, we went along, thank goodness. Yeah.
This is Queenstown, and this is Saturday, March 21st. We're here for lunch. This is the Botanic Garden. Past several huge Norway spruce trees. There's a gondola that goes up the side of the hill. In the Queenstown Botanical Garden, these are autumn crocus. Nicest clumps we've seen. There are also some giant sequoias here in the garden, and we saw some California poppies. Looking from the Botanic Garden across the harbor at Queenstown, there's a gondola that goes up the side of the mountain here to the top. This is a prime resort town, a primary resort town of New Zealand, I think. And this is the entrance to the Queenstown Botanical Garden. And this young lady is pointing at where we are.
It is quite warm.
Yeah. Very windy on the lake, yeah. The King George V Bathhouse Cafe. We had lunch in Queenstown. A children's playground over next to it. This is sort of the main square in Queenstown. And there's a tourist steamship over there that cruises on the lake. And you can see the Remarkables up and back. That's the name of that mountain range. There's a group going for a wedding apparently on.
He is coming up.
Oh, they're pulling the rope back.
This is the Puerora River Bridge.
Puerora River Bridge.
Yeah, man.
Puerora.
Oh no, he's off of it.
I'll spell it for everybody in a minute. That was one of the first bridges put in to provide access.
There he goes.
Did he hit the water?
No.
He went in the water, yes, he did. Lord! I'm sorry. What do you pay to do that, I wonder?
Pretty good, all right. I think you got a good show.
Yeah. You got a movie of it?
Yeah.
Okay then. These well, a gold threading battery.
This is an old gold
Very
mine
similar to the one we saw at the McRae's plant.
on the Colorado River.
Some old buildings they were hoping to reconstruct it.
If something goes wrong or that order's been cancelled or the freight gets diverted somewhere else, yes, you can have problems. You may end up sending it somewhere further or not so far. And so there's a little bit of juggling goes on.
This is the orchard near Cromwell. This is the owner's house. It's very modern. This is a grater. They're grating apples now. They come around here and the various sizes are split out into different trays. This is the fruit stand at the orchard where we visited. And incredible variety of fruit, and it's all very high quality. Ship a lot of it for export. 60% of the Africa. Sunday, March 22nd. We're in Lake Wanaka in the Quality Motel, and this is the view from our little deck in front of our room, looking out toward the southern Alps. Lake Wanaka down in front of us here, beyond the birch trees. Beautiful English garden. About 15 minutes away from Fox Glacier. We're walking around it, or at least partway around it. Little clouds. Walking through a temperate rainforest, which is very much like the Olympic forest in Washington. Here's the top of a tree fern. a young tree fern. Just full of mosses and waterfalls. Looks like it might have rained here a little bit. There's that intrepid hiker.
Yes.
Where are we, Helen?
We're at the Reflection Island on Lake
Matheson, I think. I don't know how they pronounce it.
Matheson.
And you can see a reflection there. Maybe that's why they called this Reflection Island. A view on Reflection Island. All this New Zealand flax. Here's a red flower growing on a vine up one of the trees here. Go by Lake Matheson. Here's an intrepid hiker again. We've got a bit of sunshine here late in the afternoon at Lake Matheson, but the mountains are still pretty much in the clouds. And look at the scene up behind them here. My goodness. This is the Fox Glacier. We're waiting. We're going to go together on a helicopter trip, so I hope to have some pictures from that soon.
Assuming some people know a little about glaciers, some people don't know much about glaciers. Is anybody that knows a lot about glaciers? Geologists or geologists around the boss.
Here we're starting up the Fox Glacier. Rodney over here.
There's absolutely nothing that's really covered that we can't see on a totally clear day. A little bit of high cloud, and what will happen throughout the morning is quite a lot of cloud will build up on the side of these valley walls out over here, probably restrict a little bit of the view. So it's always quite a good idea to get photos on the way in, because on the way out you just can't guarantee that you're going to get the same view. Generally it's a lot clearer.
We're going up towards the foot of the Fox Glacier, beginning to see some blue ice in the glacier up here. A little closer to the glacier here. Here's the foot of it. See the river coming out of the base here.
Yeah, hey, this is a good sort of indication of how hot you're going to get. Yeah. If you're hot now, in the next 30 minutes you're going to get a lot hotter, probably twice as hot. Okay, so it's a really good idea to maybe...
About 2/3 of the way up the steep face here.
Oh, he's coming up.
Let's see.
Tim Rodney is towards the back.
Then we're going
Sure
back.
that one gets lost.
Down the moraine.
It's right down next to the stream at the end of the vegetation. Hey, just keep moving around to get photos.
As we're going to go, we're going to go down on the glacier now, but you can see the top of the glacier way up there. Up on the glacier itself, climbing up the steep set of stairs with crampons.
That's cool. Just probably one of the most difficult part of the whole climb, really an ice fall. Here we are, eh? Look at that, there's a little red bus.
Here we are.
Yeah, look at that.
Not Everest.
Yeah, no, right.
Looking down the moraine from the top of the point of our glacier walk.
Oh, you got all that many behind you. I was a little concerned about that.
Last shot on the glacier, and the battery runs out. Joseph Glacier. There's Helen just outside the St. James Church here. A few hydrangeas to the right. Beautiful morning. Church. What kind of flowers are those?
Japanese anemones.
Ah.
We've seen the white variety of that little red.
This is from inside the St. James Church, looking through the window up to the front of the glacier. As I zoom back, you can see the cross here. Look at it. One more view of the Franz Joseph Glacier. Looking up the road with all leaning trees on either side. Beautiful sunny morning. It's Tuesday, and we're in Ross on the hillside of the Westland, the West Coast. Interesting old cemetery here of gold mining era. In the foreground is pretty fuchsias. This is a fence in Ross, which is made up of old gold mining machinery and gears and an old engine. Saw. There's still a modern gold mine going on in this town too. More of the fence here in Ross.
You must look at the art.
I must look at the art, she said. There's more sculptures in this place with the fence. We're still in Ross. This is a rata, R-A-T-A tree. This appears to be in bloom here in the fall. We saw a couple of these as a vine the other day. It's in the Ross Museum, and it's a model of the sluiceways and other things from the gold mine was in full swing.
Seaside town of Hokitika, and it's known for its greenstone or jade, and we're looking at a mural on a large building in the corner with flax in the foreground, and this used to be a harbor that serviced the gold mine a few kilometers upriver.
Thank you.
And we think it's very well done.
We're in a jade factory, and Hokitika is the raw material. So here is carving the jade.
Let him hold it since he made it.
Oh, don't worry, mate.
No, you hold it. You hold it because you were cutting it.
Yeah, let's
I
get a
just
picture
hold it
of
so we
you.
can see it.
Let's follow the money.
Oh, that's gorgeous.
Also an axe here. Shape of the old Maori axes.
about him. I know.
And here we are in Hokitika, having a little picnic on the beach by the Tasman Sea. A couple of drifters by the driftwood. This is a reconstructed ship of the 42 vessels lost in the Hokitika River here. Stepping back. The two-masted schooner. There's Helen on the Cambo. And this is looking up the Hokitika River. Off in the distance you can see the Southern Alps.
And this gentleman, he says, to those who help others, we may be part of the life to go out by the river.
Looking up the gray river mouth. Very good. We're about to take the train this morning, or actually this afternoon, over the Alps, the Transalpine Express. And here, turning around, just where it goes into the Tasman Sea. Here's Marion. Hi.
Campbell Island, Antipodes and Bounties. Those are what we call the New Zealand, Australian, Sub-Antarctic Islands in that 5 geographical region there. We don't include the Chatham Archipelago because that in fact is a temperate island that's lying on the 44th parallel. So in fact it puts it closer to the equator than it does to the Antarctic. So I want to take you on a journey through those islands and tell you a little bit about them, what makes them so special, and some of the history and some of the wildlife that the first discovered. And then when they found emperors, they had to find one above a king. Because the emperor is slightly bigger than a king, so what do you have? You have an emperor above a king. And that's why we get emperor penguins, because they'd already named the king, and so this one had to be bigger and better than the emperor was named the emperor. They are beautiful. And they nest in incredible numbers on the east coast of the main island. This is a small colony at Sandy Bay where we landed and have a look. You can see, like the emperors, they hold their egg on the fleshy feet. They don't have a nest as such, and the egg is held there, and the chick is held on the support, just like the emperor does. But unlike the emperor, they do share incubation, the male and the female.
Alpine Express into the station in Greymouth. Coming out of Greymouth, this is the Grey River with a rainbow. So this is the Museums USA car on the Transalpine Express.
With a linen thread. That's a waxy got it. It's very exquisite. Look at the back.
We're going along the Greymouth River. Starting to rain. Starting to go up on the west side. More views along the way up the pass. We're beginning to get into the larger mountains now. This is Otila. Shortly after this, we'll start into the
Yeah. You have to have one.
Through a tunnel.
You know, they've given us
Here's the view from Akatri, the high point on the Transalpine Express.
We have crackers.
Yeah, I should have thought about it.
Down now, back.
2 more inches.
I had to pick up 2 engines to help us go over the pass. Now we're coming down in the drier Canterbury Plain, where they had a record heat wave. Looking back toward Darkness Pass. We're starting down now.
When you finish that, turn around and look behind you.
Still coming down from Darkness Pass. Letting it get drier and drier. Just about to go into a tunnel. Getting a picture here from Bridge.
We go.
That's Sheep Canyon down here. Getting mostly reflections from the window.
Yeah, I think that's what I'm getting.
Going over the highest viaduct.
Wow,
Highest
it's
viaduct on
Here comes some more.
Another view of the river.
Oh,
Down
looking
at
up
the
at the sun and the mountain.
Coming out of the mountains now.
Canterbury
The
Plain.
Waitangi River. Lord. Oh, that's big. Sunset looking back towards the Alps. Coming into Christchurch.
They used the term continent and recognized that what they were seeing was Charles Wilkes, the United States Admiral, whom took 2 ships down, plotted some of the coast, used the term Antarctic continent, and when he returned to the United States was court-martialed and drummed out of the Navy. The French, one from the British, one from the Americans that we've already mentioned, but they're not the same season. Island, and then realizing they couldn't survive the winter, undertook an open boat journey, which is still one of the most remarkable open boat journeys, in the middle of winter, from Elephant Island to South Georgia, which required an extremely good degree of navigation. In very, very bad conditions, almost never saw the sun except on about 2 occasions where they could get any sort of bearing. The navigator on that particular boat was a man born only 50 miles from here, Frank Woolsey, born in Oforohonga, a New Zealander, and I constantly press that point because the British continually ignore that. You'll never see the reference to the fact that he was a New Zealander.
This is a chronological list of Antarctic expeditions, starting with James Cook. Down. This is a bust of Ernest Shackleton. He looks like a rugged fellow. Great leader of men. The tractor that Sir Edmund Hillary drove to the South Pole. It's a Massey Ferguson, which comes from the Midwest. And he got there first, beating the British who were coming from the other direction, much to their consternation. And this great big, huge tractor was built in Medford, Oregon. Yes, notice the change. It's a yellow ice penguin that we didn't get to see live. This is one in the museum. in the Christchurch Museum. This is the Fjordland crested penguin, which we also didn't see in the Fjordland. Specimen here in the museum. Plaque dedicated to Julius Van Hoff. Founded the museum here. There's bust over here. The model of the Endeavour, which Lieutenant James Cook made the first discovery of New Zealand, mapping of New Zealand. It's 110 feet long, 30 feet wide. Had a crew of 100. How crew is it? Crew is 94 men. There's a group of school kids all in uniform going into the Botanic Garden.
Down to the ladies' red shoes and red pants and his blue socks.
The model of Ernest Lord Rutherford, who was a New Zealander, went to Cambridge and then to McGill, one of the discoverers of the structure of the atom. This is his den in the old university in Christchurch. This is Thursday, March 26th. A picture of Rutherford in his early 20s. He was born on a farm near Nelson, Brightwater. This is the entrance to Rutherford's den, which is a laboratory that he used in his early researches before he went to Cambridge. Inside of the old university in Christchurch, Canterbury College, I guess, where Rutherford went to school, and where Helen, an old, sort of a crafts place now. The university has moved. In front of the old Canterbury College, the old university, the clock tower up above. Looking down here, there's Helen sitting at a table. It's an outdoor cafe near the Botanic Garden.
It's beautiful.
Yes. This is we're starting into the Botanic Garden in Christchurch, and this bed attracted our attention with the Edgerton, the Dusty Miller, begonias, and fuchsias.
And argyrodum around the base.
Yes.
Yeah. All right, here's Art salivating in front of the salvia with the huge beech tree in the background. And I'm going to pan over to another huge beech tree. But I was going to get you up close.
Oh, were you? All right.
Yeah.
Get me up.
Now I'm going to get it up close and personal.
That's probably enough.
Okay. You're off.
There's a beautiful bed of begonias in the Christchurch Botanic Garden. All right. This is a, what'd you call it?
Perennial.
A perennial garden?
Uh-huh.
With Alstroemeria and aster. What else?
Oh, there's phlox. There's veronica. There's campanula, asters, lilies, and the colors, still beach. Let's walk.
This is the central rose garden in the Christchurch Botanical Garden. One of several rose gardens. This is the modern roses. And there's a heritage rose garden some distance away. And here is the Avon, which flows through Christchurch. Big loops, and ducks on it, weeping willows. Over here, a purple beach. Very pretty walk in the Botanic Garden. And over here, we have Helen. Had a nice lunch in the Botanic Garden.
Goodbye.
Get some kayaks here on the Avon. Hello! This is what you really should do on the Avon is use a punt with a pole. Yeah. Go in the Botanic Garden. Beautiful peacock fountain. Okay, Christchurch. Stopping for a few minutes at these sidewalk cafes. Okay. This is still at the tram stop. Looking along this avenue of sidewalk cafes, orange umbrellas, and up there to the geraniums.
Penny and Bob were going to get ice cream from Candy's ice cream.
Oh, you can? Christchurch Cathedral in the center of town. You over here?
Whatever country have you visited? Like today? I mean, I kind of trip. Yeah. Oh, just to see.
We're getting interviewed here.
It's on a museum tour.
Okay. What's your name?
Age 12. Oliver Dink, age 12. Sam Hooper, age 12.
Okay.
Mark Williams, I'm 12.
Well, tell me where you're from.
Graham.
Graham.
James Weston, I'm 13, I'm from Christchurch.
From Christchurch.
I'm pretty good at 12.
Okay. This is Sam, maybe if we're on. Sam. And then Nathan. But you answer to Bruce, right? Yeah. Okay. And Shirley over here. And Rodney. This is the banquet on the final night, on Thursday night. This is the table with most of the people on it. We've got two other tables with Helen over here. Freddie's over there. Irene, Lynn, David. Carol. And Mel. Looks like it. Yes. Wally. Carol, I got you focused. There we go. Get everybody here. Hi, Alice. Jim? Hi, good. Gotta move around here and get busy. Oh, that's great. Where are you? There you are. I got her from the other side. I got her from here too. good.
They're all the flying I did.
Rosemary.
Which was a couple million miles from my John Motors.
There's George. And Elizabeth.
They're little Mexican dolls.
Barbara.
A Mexican wedding I know.
Rosemary.
You haven't seen them before.
And this is one of the sons. Okay, here we go. All around.
Thank you so much for including us in your video.
Okay.
They've asked me how did Robert contact me or did I contact Robert? How on earth did they make the connection? And I don't know whether I'm getting a quick back in my Robert. Because it's very simple. I happen to be passing through the States. Actually, I wasn't passing through. I was on my way to Washington to go to university for a week. I was invited to attend a course at George Washington University last year. And I flew up and I spent some time in Los Angeles and some time in Seattle, and I think I went through to Boston and I was in Darien, and I made my way down to George Washington where I finished. And I made my way down to George Washington where I spent a week on a pressure cooker course. But I happened to be in the Los Angeles office of the New Zealand Tourism Board, and I think Robert had rung that morning and said he was looking for somebody to help him organise a tour to New Zealand. And they gave me his number, and I left a message on your answer phone, I think. So there's no mystery about it. That's how it happened. I just happened to be in the New Zealand Tourism Board office in Los Angeles because I normally pay my respects to the bureaucrats every time I pass through. And it just happened that Robert had rung that morning and I passed through.
And this is the end of the trip in Los Angeles. Sun 47-200 that we came on.